Don Larsen lives the life that millions of young American men want, a life many are sacrificing everything to have. Not only did Don give up the American dream, he let God write an entirely new script. Don, the CEO of Sunshine Nut Company, and I've been learning so much about you with your visit back home. You live in Mozambique, right?
That's correct. Full-time in Mozambique. We sold everything. Moved there in 2011, so it's been 14 years.
How radical was that? Those first few weeks, how difficult was it for your family? How difficult was it for you?
Well, I'm an adventurer. My wife is not. My son was
would
wanting
she say
to
that?
be. Yes, she would. But you know, she was called there as well. And she got a very clear understanding that she's to be there. And so she's found her niche taking care of the orphans, but also taking care of the farming communities in our foundational work.
So rewind all the way back to that 29-year-old Don Larsen.
Yeah.
And TikTok has been the tutor for so many in this generation of what does it mean to be a successful person. And most always it involves money.
Yep.
It involves sacrifice, often sacrificing people, relationships, in order to be focused enough to get what you want out of life.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that you're asking a 29-year-old or a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old to know exactly what they should want out of life. Yeah. Who were you back then?
I was very ambitious, and I was very motivated. I worked hard. I wanted to succeed in life.
What does hard look like? I mean,
I put in weekends. I put in nights. I volunteered. You know, I took the job at Hershey. And I volunteered for everything. And they sent me all over. I was up in Canada, I was down in Mexico, I was all 29 factories at the time doing different projects and work.
And your family wasn't traveling with you?
No, this was corporate work. And before that, I was at a small meat company as the only engineer. So I got so much experience. And I moved through different jobs every year at Hershey and being groomed. And God was the one grooming me. Yeah. Now that I look back at it, 29 to 44, those 15 years, I was being groomed for the actual task that He had for me in Mozambique. It's always been that way.
So pause there. So this idea of God preparing you for something He has far out.
Yeah.
He's using, nothing is wasted.
That's exactly right. And you hear that all the time. I will tell you that everything that you go through, you should say, what is it that you want me to learn from this, Lord? And what do you want me to do next? Because He knows you're there. You're to take that and move on it. And so the last 14 years, I ask that every day. Okay, what do you want me to learn from this? Yeah. Because we're in the midst of corruption, exploitation, all kinds of things happening. But back then, everything that I learned, I now use on a daily basis.
In your 20s, in your 30s, this idea that you were a good person you were providing well for your family.
Absolutely. We had the perfect life. Yeah. We really did. My wife taught at the Christian school, a very good Christian school. My kids were great. Everything was perfect, according to the world. And that's where I decided, I want to be perfect. Jesus said, to be perfect, the rich man, sell everything and follow me. Yeah. Well, I wasn't intending to sell everything, but it just so happened, the farther I got down the road, it seemed like I did make that decision that the rich man in the Bible didn't make. And I will tell you, the rewards that come that aren't material, but we call them, my wife and I call them tears of joy. We have such profound, wonderful experiences that we know God is smiling at us and saying, good job. And they're the tough things. I mean, we're robbed. We've had armed home invasions. It's no easy life, but God's always there to protect us.
Well, why isn't it enough to follow your heart? Why isn't it enough to just, as many suggest, just go deep inside? Or when you're sitting in front of a financial planner and the financial planner says, Don, what kind of a life do you want? What do you see for yourself?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that kind of approach? Because as long as you're giving money.
You know, I had a great job offer. After we were surrendered, I had some great job offers. And people said that very thing to me. This is God, because you'll be making so much money. You can give to all these projects. And I felt, because of the relationship that I was building, I felt that wasn't right. And I remember walking down the hall after this one company said, how much money is it going to take Don Larsen to join us? And I said, it's not about the money. I want to help people. And I remember walking down the marble hallway thinking, this is crazy. I hope I heard you right, Lord. I hope I heard you right. And I did hear him right. And so what I would say is that plan, that planner, that might be God's calling for you. But what I would suggest is you go deeply intimate and develop the relationship with the Lord directly. And you might find, and you surrender. And you surrender from a standpoint of, I give my life up to you. Do with it what you want. And then he'll test you on it. So
surrender in military terms, it does not have great connotations. It's the white flag of surrender. It is laying the sword down. It is potentially being taken captive and shipped off to the gulag somewhere. But missionaries have used this word for a very long time about that moment when they gave up the practice of law or medicine, or they traded it in and let God take them out of America or Britain or these other places, and then go into deep, dark Africa, as they would say in the early 20th century. Why is surrender for a Christian a good word and not a curse word?
Because you're surrendering to the Lord, the Creator, the one that has a plan for you. I mean, we all recite Jeremiah 29. For I know the plans that I have for you. Well, do you know those plans? Are you sure? Or are you wanting your own path, your own way, and are you asking God to bless it? The big difference between saying that and I personally, the way it unfolded for me, I sometimes wondered, wow, what if every Christian surrendered completely and let God orchestrate this incredible divine plan? I think heaven would come to earth so quickly because we'd be developing and obeying plans of an incredibly omniscient, omnipresent God that has it all together, but he just needs people to be obedient and follow his ways.
Let me ask another S word, and this is another piece of financial planning is security. That you can have security for your family, and what you seem to have done is you have traded in secure for uncertain. That's what many people, right?
Yeah.
So you say, hey, by the way, honey, we're going to have armed robberies, or our kids could potentially be kidnapped and held for ransom, or all kinds of things. There's many, many reasons why America feels so attractive.
Yeah, it does.
How do you get over that?
Knowing that you have an eternal life in front, and you have a very small amount of time here. And, I look every day at people who, they have everything. I had everything. Was I truly happy? And what is that feeling? You're chasing after something that really most people that I know that are very wealthy, they're still searching. And I got to the top of the ladder. I'm like, man, I got 20 more years of this ladder. I don't think I want to be climbing this ladder. I want to climb another ladder where I feel like I'm doing things for the Lord, and that I'm accomplishing things that will allow me to hear that pleasure. It's not about whether I'll make it to heaven or not. Completely not that. It's about, I know I'm saved, but we're to then say, okay, how can I be more Christ-like, and how can I actually generate the fruit that the scriptures tell you that you should generate?
So you leave the United States in less than a month, and you go back to Mozambique, and you go back to surroundings which do not have the same kind of comforts and amenities. Is there when you go back, is there ever a little moment of a little doubt, a little whisper that says go back? I mean, the metaphor, the old book Pilgrim's Progress. There's, Christian is always getting that whisper to go back to Vanity Fair and celestial cities up there. How do you hear the right voice?
It's a voice of contentment. We have a lot of people depending on us. We have a lot of children. We have a lot of farmers. We have a lot of employees. And, it's one of these things where we don't miss the U.S. like we did. When we'd come back here, we'd go to our favorite restaurants and everything. We live a very simple life there. But it's a very rewarding life. And although it's dangerous, and although there's a lot of things that we don't have here, we find contentment there.
Do Mozambicans, do Africans in general, looking at America, and they read the headlines about school shootings or political unrest or government shutdowns and all this, is there a sense that that America has lost a bit of the shine over there? How do you explain that to them?
You know what? I think everyone loves America.
Yeah.
And, they see the land of opportunity. And, unfortunately, you watch the news in the U.S. and you see the worst. And so what I've found, a lot of people who do visit America, I'm like, I hope you just didn't go into the cities and experience what, is a very hectic and potentially dangerous environment where you see the movies and everything. Get out to the rural areas, and most people do. And that's where the real America is. That's where the wonderful America is, but it's still a very materialistic country. And it's nice to be away. When we watch TV, there's no commercials because no one has any money, and so we don't feel the tug of needing the next best thing. And so we're very content to have very old cars. Our houses are, as long as there's air conditioning because it gets hot. We've got a swimming pool, but it costs very little to operate. And, we can employ people because people need jobs. And so you're required to kind of have a maid, a gardener and everything. And you develop a very good family environment around that. Yeah.
Last couple minutes.
Yeah.
This next chapter for Sunshine Nut.
Yeah.
What do you think it looks like? Where do you think God is taking this? Or do you even have a clue?
No, I think it's to the farming families. We're in the, for the past 3 years, we've been and built a factory where at the heart of the Islamic insurgency that's happening in northern Mozambique. And we're working with hundreds of families there. We're the largest employer in the hot spot where significant amount of people were killed over a very short period of time. There's 6,000 people that have been, over 6,000 killed in northern Mozambique and over 1 million displaced. So God sent us up there to kind of demonstrate love. Not to proselytize or do anything, but just to say, hey, we've got a solution that will bring prosperity. I call it, we're nuts about peace and prosperity because most issues come around income and being able to survive. And the right amount of income where you don't have to worry about what am I going to eat, how am I going to keep warm, how will my children be able to go to school. Once you've covered those, then you've got a nice life. And there's many things about the Mozambican culture that we agree with.
And there's something spiritually that appears to be happening in Mozambique as well.
Yeah, it's a dark environment.
Yeah.
But there are beacons of light happening all over.
And you're one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, we try to be. We're definitely being watched for a lot of different things, and so we try to be the salt and the light and the provider. I mean, yeah.
Don, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My very special guest for this Morning Light bonus has been Don Larsen, the CEO of Sunshine Nut Company. The website you want to go to is sunshineapproach.org, and that'll get you inside the mission and the vision for this extraordinary organization.